Well, hey everybody, it's Dr. Drake 63 here again with just a real quick overview, semi-quasi unboxing. It's already out of the box of a new accessory that I'm going to start out with anyway on this 7.62 NATO Galil, and that is the primary arms 1 through 6 ACSS reticle. This has been a very, very popular optic that you hear a lot about. If you want to see all the particulars, this thing has been reviewed like crazy on YouTube, and everybody kind of comes to the same conclusion that it's a great optic, and some throw in for the money, which price point is just below 300 bucks, which seems crazy low for what you get. And but you hear that a lot, but mostly you just hear what a great reticle it is and how some of the more expensive and more quote-unquote higher quality brands such as Trigicon are now adopting this reticle. But we're going to talk about it a little bit. First of all, I ordered this directly from Primary Arms. Didn't go through anybody else. Went straight to their website. But as you can see, this is a 1 through 6 24 millimeter reticle scope, which has the ACSS, which is a proprietary setup, which you see right here, whereby within that red circle you see a chevron. That is your point of aim at 100 yards, right at the tip of that. So that provides you with the opportunity with a lot of accuracy. And then as you see 4, 6, 8, which basically once you identify that you're, say for example 500 yards out, you put your reticle right there, and that crosshair is your 500 yard point of 0. How do you figure out how far away you are? Well, this is a rangefinder on the right. If you have a normal size man, say basically 6 feet tall, standing at 400 meters, he's going to fill up, or 400 yards I should say, he's going to fill up this much of the gauge. So, 200, he's going to be twice as tall, so forth and so on. Obviously use this for farther distances, but at 800 meters, you're going to have a human size type of target. I guess you could use this on deer and stuff too, but this was obviously made for a military application. At 800 meters, that tells you if it fills up to 8, that's 800 meters, you take your corresponding crosshair and then you shoot. You see here too, you have, these are for moving targets in the wind, and you can see 5-mile-an-hour wind. It's really interesting stuff, and I'm not going to jump too much into it on this unboxing, other than to point out that this is an optic that I bought, not sure what I was going to use it for, but I own 3 of those 4 calibers you see up there. Obviously the 5.56, this 308 7.62 NATO, which is this guy right here, and then also that 5.45 by 39, so that's going to work real well with my Arsenal SLR 104 and 5.45. So I don't anticipate putting that on top of that particular rifle, but it's nice to know if I ever wanted to, I've got one that can handle it. And it all comes down to whatever you're using, zero it at the top of this chevron right here, this little arrow, and all the rest of the math works itself out. So, is this something you're going to use for competition long-range shooting? No. Did you say that I shouldn't use this for competition long-range shooting, dog? Is this something that you're going to use for competition long-range shooting? No. Is this something that you would use for varmint hunting, coyote hunting, or, obviously more self-defense, militaristic type of roles? Yes, and that's why you're seeing this rangefinder being adopted by a lot of folks. Now, for this, I decided to go with the Burris PEPR mount, which is not a quick release mount. This particular one does have the screw-on knobs. I tighten those up just a little bit with a socket wrench to make sure they're on there nice and tight. I saw some folks complaining about this mount being a little bit too high for their liking. I'll tell you what I like about it. If you take a real good close look at this integral back sight on the Galil, you'll see that this clears it. So depending on the angle you're looking at, looks like it might actually kind of touch it. It doesn't. It clears it, and that's really slick. Not that I could foresee using this, but you actually have kind of a peep through kind of scenario underneath. Again, I don't think I'd use that, but here you go. You've got this right here, your reticle in there, and this camera isn't going to do a real good job of picking that up, but we'll try in a minute. So I went with the Burris on this, and I do think that if I was going to put this on an AR, I might want a little bit lower mount. But it's a Burris mount that's made for ARs. I've seen kind of mixed reviews on these. These get positive reviews, some mixed reviews, I guess, more on the quick release mounts. And quite frankly, I just don't really need the quick release mount for this application. And one thing that's nice about this is this reticle, while illuminated, is not a reticle that doesn't work without batteries. So you've always got something that's going to work, and that's one thing I like about this. Mention not needing batteries for this to work. This is what it looks like without it being turned on. And this is one of the lower settings. This is about 5 out of 11. And this is tuned all the way up, and as you can see, quite a bit of brightness. One of the other options you have for the top of your scope mount here is a railed section instead, and it comes with these actually attached, or you could go with the smooth. Now, I'm not going to put anything on top of there, so I wanted to keep my profile as simple and sleek as possible, but there are some guys that are going to want to put different things. Maybe a simple reflex sight, any number of things you might want to put on there. Keeping in mind it's not going to span much, but if there's something you want to put on there, you have that opportunity, which is kind of cool. So that's one thing I liked about this Burris mount. I've seen these for $70-80, and if you want the quick detach version, the QD version, you're looking at another 45 to 50, but this pretty much is a scenario, well, I'll have to let you know how it works because I've never used it before. This is definitely a load to carry around, like I said, but the ability to reach out and touch with 308 from long distances is very appealing to me. Obviously, a full auto version of this would be something that would be the modern day version of the BAR. Now, this isn't exactly what I'd call a lightweight rifle by any stretch. You know, first of all, you're talking about a magazine that's holding 20 rounds of 308, which itself is not lightweight ammunition. One of the big reasons that the United States military went away from the 308 and gravitated towards the 223 is you could carry basically twice as many rounds for the same amount of weight on a troop. So you figure if you want to carry 300 rounds of 5.56 versus 300 rounds of 308, big difference there. So this is not a lightweight rifle. You get something like this, or you get something like the FN Scar or something like that. It's going to feel real heavy when you're used to carrying around stuff like an M4 carbine and things of that nature. Is it a sniper rifle? You know, we'll find out. I'll let you know what kind of accuracy I can get. I can tell you this, I was shooting clover leaves at 50 yards with a 2 MOA red dot, so you know, you can draw your own conclusions. I think this rifle's probably like a lot of others. You find the right ammo, it's going to be as accurate as the shooter. So I don't expect this to be more accurate than say a hunting rifle that's a bolt action, but I do expect that this is going to be a 1 MOA or sub shooter. We'll see if we can do that with this scope, and that will be the subject of a future video when we can get out to the range and give this thing a good run for its money and test out some different ammo and stuff like that.
As always, I want to thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to testing out this Primary Arms 1 through 6x24 ACSS scope and in combination with this rifle. Thanks as always for watching. This is Dr. Drake 63 reminding you to support the National Rifle Association. Have a great day, guys.